All right, guys, thank you again for returning back on the next video. In this video, we are going to set up the environment for auxiliary image and as well as we are going to create the auxiliary image as well for our deployment. So there are a few requirements over here. Firstly, copy paste this folder. So just like prod tele, we will reuse this folder for prod sample application also. So the application name is sample. So I'm just gonna, put it as the same. So here I'm entering the prod sample over here, and you can see that I actually got the same output as the prod tele. Okay, so a lot of modification is going to happen in this not in this video, but then in this series, in this section on all these files, because we are going to accommodate a new application here. The good thing is that we can reuse it. That's the good thing because it's both, we are naming it as prod, so that one thing is going to be same. We have to create namespace, different names for space for this, so you will not be able to see it over here. You have to type a different namespace. So that kind of a small changes would happen, and we will talk about it. So go inside the WDT artifacts over here, which is going to host our artifacts for creating this. Firstly, you need to remove the existing artifact from the existing location. So if you just go to RM, I'm going to remove this model file for WLV1, sorry, V1, and then I'm going to remove the archive.zip file because we don't need this archive.zip because that has the actual old application there. So that's the reason why I'm removing it. So we don't have to re-download the zip files because the WebLogic deploy file is already, downloaded here. So we don't really have to do those activities right now. So there's like much less activity than before. So you still need to export your Java path. Java underscore home is equal to opt Java. So this Java path should be there because we are going to redesign this tool. So firstly, we need to create an archive. That's what it says according to our documentation. So we need to create this image. But before we do that, we need to make sure that we download the proper item over here. So to do that, you have to download the var file. So that's something which we need to do. For example, I'm just gonna create this item over here. So just give me 1 second. All right, before we do that, we will execute this command. This command is more or less similar, but except that we need to change this to sample. So this needs to be added over here. So before we execute this command, so I want to update that in your document as well. And as well as like one more thing to notice is that you have to execute this command before this. We have to execute the delete of this entry. And then you can execute this command over here. So this is given to you in that location. So like you can execute that. Now we are up to the next one. So you can unzip this. All perfect. So we have executed the first setting up the environment. So we will execute the auxiliary image creation right now. So we need to be going inside the archive v1. So here I have the WLS deploy, right? So now here inside the WLS deploy, you have application code, right? So this is where you have the my v1 app. So you need to put in your sample application here. So, but before you do that, right? So let me use this console. So what I'm going to do on this console is that I'm going to opt, and then I'm going to git clone, and then I'm going to clone my EAR files over here. So this EAR files is gonna get me what I want as a as the base. So it's like I'm gonna clone this. So that's pretty much done. So EAR folder is over here, and then I have the sample v1 folder, and then you have the sample var file. So now I have to copy this var file in this location, but I cannot copy it like in a file. I have to unzip this. So I use Java to do that. So opt java bin jar -xvf and then sample var file. So this should extract the files and folders. So now you have the structure. So you need to go inside this my v1 app. You need to find similar structure like that. So you have the var file name and the meta-env. So it should be in the similar format actually. So you may have to modify a little bit of what's going around in this location in the web bioinf as well. So it's like you have weblogic.xml, right? So we need to create such a file, in the same way. So it may not have the weblogic.xml. So we may have to create this logic. So you don't have to really do this because I will upload this for you. But I have to do this because I'm doing it for the first time. So I have to get this appropriately how it is, especially the web app folder, right? So which is over here. I'm sorry, meta-env folder. So this is where the WebLogic context root is defined. Not here, application.xml, I guess. Yeah, so this is where you need to have this. So this is where you need to modify it. So that application was working on my apps underscore var, but this should work as samples. So I need to rename this as well. So now there's the series of things I need to do. Firstly, I will move this my app version 1 to samples folder. So once that is done, you can actually do it. You don't really have to download it from me. You can actually follow my instruction and do this. It's very simple. So here in the web URI, right? So you just have to change this to samples here. And then here as well to samples, because that's how the application would respond to you. So because of the samples.var file, right? So that's how it is. So, and then that's the application. And then let's check the WebLogic application file. If there is any reference to anything, there's no reference to anything of this sort. So go inside this, move this my app var file to samples again, and then go to samples folder, and then remove index.jsp. Or you can actually modify this index.jsp to whatever you want, but we want to keep it to the sample content. So I'm just going to remove that. Go inside the web bioinf folder, and I have just 2 files over here. So now in the sample folder, in the sample actual file, so I'm going to web bioinf folder. I see some classes and libraries. So I copy classes and lib folders across to this location, to this web bioinf folder. So now I should see classes and libraries over here. Perfect. So now I want to compare the web.xml from here to here as well. Okay, so this web.xml is kind of empty, as you can see over here. And this one has a lot of information. So I'm going to copy the web.xml as well to this location. So I'm just going to remove classes and lib, and then just going to copy web.xml. So this doesn't have weblogic.xml. The actual sample var file v1 doesn't have weblogic.xml, but it has weblogic.xml. So I'm going to see if this has any reference to the old naming section, but there is nothing. As you can see, it's all about the session timeout and interval invalidation. Those are the things which is configured over here. So I'm going to go back to the home folder. So I'm going to copy the index.html link login into this location, the samples folder. Perfect. So now we have created the sample application. So we have copy pasted all the important files, modified all the important files. Now you have the sample application ready for you So I'm going to go into config folder, see if this needs to be modified in any way, but this is an empty file. So that's good. So now I'm in the archive folder right now. I've did all the changes on the back end to replace it. So now what I'm going to do is like, I'm going to go back to my document here, and then I'm just going to execute this command. Now this command requires a little bit of modification, which I'm going to copy paste to you. So I'm going to change it to samples. Yeah, I can see that. Samples as well. So I'm going to change it here as well. You're not able to see it, I know. Just bear with me. I'm just modifying my document. Yeah, it's done. So we'll copy paste this command. So now here it is going and executing this WebLogic deploy archive helper.sh add application archive file is or OPD WebLogic prod samples WTD artifacts, and then it just tells you the location where this archive file should be loaded. And then in terms of source, it tells me the application name over here, application slash sample application. So here is basically your sample application. So this should create the application, and you can see that just come up. So let's see if it has actually created in this location. This is the location, archive file location. LTR. Okay, the archive file has been created. As you can see that this file exists right now. So you have the image created. Perfect. I'm sorry, not image, archive created. Now, once the archive is created, all we have to do is right now is to build the image, WTD image. Now I'm going to keep the name as almost the same WTD, but then I'm going to add a word called sample. But before we do that, we need to get to this location. There's some things needs to be changed on the model file. So model properties, it's going to have the cluster size. I'm happy with 5. Though we're not going to create those pods, so it will not be occupying any kind of a workload if you don't have that. Well, let me just open this file one more time. So the YAML file. All right, so now here, what I have for you is that there are certain things which we need to change over here or modify according to our requirement. If you want to give the name of the admin server as admin server for this domain too as well, you can, continue giving this. You're planning to change the name of the cluster, you can change it here, but I have no issue running it like this. One thing for sure is that you need to change the path here. So this path should be samples. So that should be the name of the path. So I have given that. So now let me just save and quit this file. So this is pretty much the same. Everything else is, but this is something which we need to change. So save and quit this file. Now that we have changed the property file, I think it's time for us to build this new image. Now creating this image, we need to run the same exact command which we ran before. So only the change is that you're going to run it from the different location here this time. And you can actually tag this name as well in a different name. I mean, the image tag can be in a different name. So here I can just type in sample here. So you can just type in domain-sample. Samples, that's the name of your application. That this specifies that this is the sample image which is getting created right now. So now it is going to use the files over here. Let me export java_home. So it is building this package right now. So Docker images, Docker tag, sample image : WLS-v1. So this is going to be the version. sorry, Beyond Cloud AI, and then the same exact thing. So this has tagged the image now. It should be good for us to upload. Docker push. I'm hoping that it is already logged in, so the push command wouldn't throw up any error. If you have not logged in, you can use Docker login, and you can log into the server and you can do this command. Now that I have uploaded the image, so now I can actually go to the next step. You can run the Docker image and check this out right now to see if this is all, works fine. But it should actually. So I've given the command anyways for you to, check it on the document. So you can actually do that if you want to. So I've also modified the name of this to Docker-sample. So that is also done from my end. If you look at my document, you will be able to see the updated commands. So you can actually go ahead and copy paste those and work with it. Now, in the next video, we will be configuring the WebLogic domain properties and then the domain preparation and getting this new domain created. And then after that, we will create a separate video for Ingress and then testing this application. There must be one more property I need to change, which I'll tell you on the next video. Thank you again for your patience and time. I'll see you on the next one.